Welcome and join us on our journey as we interview everyday people and ask them that very question of who am I?
Who am I? Who am I?
Who am I? So my name is Keith Roye. I'm 29. I'm from Nassau, Providence. So I currently run a software company by the name of Play Alpha Design. Also, as well, I serve on the Chamber Board as a director, along with my vice chairman, who is behind the scenes right now, Don Williams. So a bit about the journey. So I graduated from college in 2016, Bachelor's of Computer Science. At the time, I was doing some, I was at IT work in Orlando for a few years. From there, I would have realized that my time living in the States was coming to an end. So I started looking for positions in the Bahamas. Luckily, I was able to find myself working at Kilo Bahamas. I was hired as a software developer. And during that time, for about 2.5 years, I worked there as a developer. But within the first 3 months, I would have met my partner, who also was hired there at the same time doing the same thing. And at that moment, about 3 months in, we decided that it only makes sense for us to take our skills, come together, and actually start the business doing software development, not for a company, but for ourselves. And then from there, that then matriculated into what Play Alpha is today, which, in my opinion, is a leading software consulting firm, not only in the Bahamas, but also in the Caribbean region. So the journey started out with us not even naming the business as Play Alpha. So it was first called Base Road Software Solutions. As you may know, the Base Road Bar, I believe that's somewhere in the city. So we try to keep it kind of a homegrown name. But realistically, how it really started was us just trying to figure out how to make some more money. At the time, cable wasn't really paying us a bad salary, but obviously being young and just wanting to do more for ourselves and for our potential families, we decided to come together and start the business. Before even offering what it is we offer today, we were simply just building websites and e-commerce platforms. And then we realized that if we continue in this direction, obviously we're going to be competing with a whole lot of other companies doing the same thing. And we were trying to find a way to get a bit more niche in what we were doing. So we found a gap in the market, which was companies that are having a hard time streamlining their HR and payroll operations. This allowed us to then develop a platform called TriBlock HR that actually solves that problem. And today, that same business, this week actually, we just celebrated 7,000 employees on the platform. We have about over 40 companies now using it. And again, like I said, it's been a journey so far. That's a great question. So I think all businesses should be created based on a need. A lot of persons create businesses based on a hobby, based on what they like to do, or sometimes based on what they may feel as if it's fun or calling. But at the end of the day, a business is only in business to make money. And if you're not making a profit, you would notice that your business may not last the test of time. But if you're able to solve a problem, if you're able to figure out a gap in the market and be able to provide a solution that's not only able to solve the immediate problem, but is very competitive, then I think you'll be in business for a while, and then you'll start to notice that more and more persons over the years are going to warm up to your business and potentially even continue to support you, not only currently, but in the future as well. My greatest accomplishment, I would say, is running the half marathon. I believe it was last year. If you know me, I've never been a runner. I've always been a guy in the gym. But once COVID hit, gyms were closed and I needed some way to break a sweat. I started running outside, and that turned into now me just running anywhere between 8 to 10 miles on a given Sunday just for fun. So that in and of itself, I think, is my greatest accomplishment. I don't have any regrets. I think you should live life with no regrets. Obviously, there are going to be mistakes that you make along the way, but mistakes are always learning lessons. Sometimes you don't need to learn the lesson yourself to actually learn it. You can always learn from others, but I don't think I have any regrets so far. When I was in college, I want to say second year, I would have signed up for Calculus 1, and at the time, I think I was the only Bahamian or Caribbean person in the class. The majority of persons were either from South America, Africa, or they were Asian, right? So I ended up failing the class, and when I failed the class, I ended up withdrawing right before it would have counted as an actual F. So I came back home. I'm on scholarship, of course, so I took the entire summer, I guess, teaching myself exactly what it is that I need to do to actually pass the class. Next semester came back and did what I needed to do. So, I think for most persons, success very early isn't really a good thing. I think it's great, especially young, to always, when you're trying to do something, you fall down, try your best to pick yourself back up. There's going to be times where you're not going to be perfect, but it's not what you do when things are going good. It's what you do when things are pretty much falling by the wayside. Pick yourself back up and just keep on going. To my younger self, I would say probably to start early. I've always started early, but I could always tell myself to start earlier. I don't consider myself a procrastinator by other person's standard, but from my own standard, I tend to, procrastinate a bit. I work better under pressure versus having a lot of time to do specific things. So I would say to definitely just start early, whatever that may be, whether it's a career, whether it's a business. Start early, iron out all the kinks as early as possible. That way, the older you get, the more mature you get, the more seasoned you get, obviously, the better you become. No time is too early. So what do I mean, right? Don't wait until you have enough money to start a business. You could start a business with pretty much nothing. When I started the business, we started with nothing. We only had our skill sets, Canva, and whatever else we could have done to pretty much try to market ourselves, right? Don't give yourself an excuse to not do something. There's always a way, whether it's either yourself, help of friends and family, to be able to get something going, because it isn't the finished product that teaches you everything you need to know. It's the journey to get there. So whether the journey for some person is a year or 5 years, a decade, learn to trust the process, enjoy the journey, start as early as possible so you can iron out as much of the issues as quickly as possible. On the left hand, most persons don't realize that until they start writing with my left hand. Another thing would be I play 2 instruments, piano and trumpet. How long since I picked it up and started practicing? It's been a while, but I would say I'm fairly decent. I would say the necessity of having to go to college to be successful, especially in our Bahamian climate, we always push our kids that going off to university, getting a college degree would equal success. If you look at the statistics, you would see that normally isn't always the case. I do think, specific degrees in college is necessary for you to get to the next level. But I think, trade schools, learning a trade or a skill, I think it's just as important. Blue skills or blue collar work, I think it's just as important than some of your white collar careers and so on and so forth. Again, most persons may see it differently, but I think learning an actual skill is more important than getting an education, in my opinion. Well, most parents are kind of stuck in their ways, so my advice probably won't help, but what I would say is, get a sense of what your child likes to do. You don't necessarily need to live vicariously through your children. Children, when they grow up, they tend to show you what it is they like, dislike, what it is they want, don't want. You can take those things that you see and try to nurture that instead of trying to force your hand and throw something down the pipeline that they may not necessarily favor per se. Keith Roye on all platforms. The business Play the Alpha or Triblock HR on all platforms, and that's pretty about it.
If you like what you saw, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and join us on our journey as we create more content on our way to getting our first play button.